This episode is about the subterranean world of the major plate. The subterranean world is a very busy place. Beneath the crust of any kind of plate on the world machine are a lot of hidden and secreted away devices and parts of the machine that you don't really know about or see until you just encounter them. So all of these gears, all of the gears of the mechanism are created from a substance which is just known as mechanite. Mechanite's a very, very strong alloy. It has metamorphic qualities. It can't be reproduced nowadays, and it doesn't have a use to the people of the world machine. But it's not solid mechanite. Mechanite just forms the structure around which is caked earth and centuries of build-ups of all sorts of different substances. So under the ground, it isn't just pure hard mechanite metal. There are balancing holes. There are the world arteries, which recycle the matter into the elemental spokes. There are all sorts of junctions and other inner workings of the gears. And even the world arteries, they form roads and sort of strands and veins which go to smaller structures or features, as well as natural caverns that occur between the cracks of the mechanite that holds the gear together. So if you go far enough down through the tunnels that are in the plate, you will eventually reach a place which we call the underworld. So the underworld is the inverse side of any plate. On the top we have the obverse, where everyone lives and is all very comfortable with that. But on the opposite side is the inverse, called the underworld. So it's believed that in this underworld, this is where the brood come from, or at least where they live. The brood creatures are, of course, just very, very desperate and horrible creatures which are missing some essential element of their being, of their soul, or of their physiology. So artists traditionally believe that the underworld is a grey and lifeless place because of the descriptions of brood that they've heard from soldiers and people who have had to fight them. But there's no real evidence of this. We also believe that it could be lifeless because there wouldn't be enough ribbon light reaching those undersides of the planes. It would only get ribbon light when the ribbon passed over, and it would have to shoot through the cracks between other gears to reach this. So we think it would be very dark and quite barren in terms of landscape, not very good for supporting at least the kinds of life that exist on the major plate. The creatures and denizens of the subterranean world of the major plate are barely documented, and very little is known about any of these kinds of creatures. Perhaps one of the most successful subterranean explorers was called Beryl's Valsgard. And although he went deep, deep into the crust of the earth, people think he probably only made it about 1/10 of the way that would be required to end up on the inverse side of a plate. And basically, the further you go, the more you encounter and the more dangerous it becomes. Dwarven pressure suits and other equipment would be needed to even go further than the mere 10% that Beryl's Valsgard was able to excavate.